afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Live Racing, coming to you today on this race special from Ellerslie in Auckland. I can tell you the weather's not too bad at the moment, and we've got a very good race lined up for you this afternoon. It's the Lion Red Stakes. It's drawn together a very good field, which includes many horses hoping to make it big in Australia in the forthcoming weeks. We'll be looking at that field in one moment. Meantime, joining me again for comments throughout our summer months is Brian O'Flaherty, our co-commentator. Brian, good to see you again. What's your thoughts on this, the Lion Red Stakes? How significant is it?
Well, it's make or break for one or two horses, Mickey's Town and certainly Regal City. So it's a pretty important race, and of course it's a listed race in its own right.
Early thoughts on a favourite for you?
Well, I haven't seen Megabucks yet, but obviously the rest of the world has, and they think he's pretty smart.
Indeed. Also joining us today is Mike Dillon, known as the racing editor of the Sunday News. And Mike, good to have you aboard. Tell us your thoughts on this race, knowing, of course, that Regal City needs to turn in a good run, and, of course, Mickey's Town looking a top horse at the moment.
Yeah, he's a very good horse, Mickey's Town fellow. I'm surprised at I'm amazed at the improvement in him in the last month or so. The interesting part of this race to me is that Megabucks is favourite, because I don't think you can stress enough that Megabucks is very badly off in the handicaps under the weight for age condition, because he's an intermediate horse, just come through the grades, and he's all of a sudden meeting a horse like Mickey's Town at level weight. So I don't think you can stress enough the fact that he's badly off in the weights.
Okay, well, Mickey's Town and Megabucks are disputing the favouritism at the moment, and we're going to be talking to Mike and Brian just a little later. Meantime, let's update conditions as they exist here. We've had some pretty strong westerlies blowing here at Ellerslie. I can tell you they've been ranging between about 20 to 30 knots, and certainly out in the middle of the course, it's been very, very windy indeed. Fine conditions, however, 21 degrees the temperature, and the track conditions are officially described as soft. Reminder too that we'll be bringing you in live coverage of the Desert Gold Stakes on our Intertrack service. That's time for a start at 3:20. Well, earlier today, in fact just a very short time ago, we saw a great race. It was the Firth Mitchelson Cup. It's always a good staying race because it presents us with an opportunity to see some of the Melbourne Cup contenders, and among them, of course, Spyglass, one of the favourites for the Melbourne Cup, and certainly a warm favourite here on the tote. Let's have the call now from Keith Holt.
Tended alongside of Star Harvest, or Hot Number, one of the two. They're off and running in the Firth Mitchelson Cup, and slow was Hot Number as they jumped out of the stalls. Rainer's Lane now dashes towards the lead, and going up wider on the track now is March C as they settle down, and out wide Fairfield Lad is also getting handier, and Spyglass tucked in on the inside. Settling, March C's got a narrow lead now from Rainer's Lane and Fairfield Lad out wide. The Arcao Lad's got a lovely run through on the inside. Spyglass is going to settle handy from Escalation, then followed Jaspala, then Lord Sutak just ahead of these. Then next as they go towards the Judge Royal Banquet, about 2 lengths to Beau Monarch from Prince Kumai the Grey, then 1.5 lengths back. On the inside next is Star Harvest. On its outside, Gatcombe's Pride, then Silver Chris, Hot Number, the last two, 17 lengths first to last as they swing out of the straight, with March C the pacemaker by 2 now on Fairfield Lad. Tiarco Lad got a lovely run on the inside of Spyglass, then 3 to Escalation, then Rainer's Lane by the 1600 metres, 2.5 to Jaspala with Lord Sutak, 1.5 Royal Banquet, 3 back then is Beau Monarch with then Prince Kumai, then Star Harvest on the inside of Gatcombe's Pride, then Hot Number and Silver Chris as they race by the 1400 metres, 20 lengths first to last, and March C led by 3. On Fairfield Lad right there, Spyglass, Tiarco Lad switched off the rail now and works round 3 deep. Then Escalation is next, then followed round by next is Rainer's Lane, 2 back behind them. On the inside, Jaspala of Lord Sutak as they work up the rise, then Beau Monarch is next. With it is Royal Banquet, then followed by Prince Kumai. On the inside, Star Harvest hasn't left the rail today, then followed Hot Number. They followed round by then Gatcombe's Pride is getting well back, and Silver Chris is last. They race by the 800 metres. March C a half length. Tiarco Lad now levels to its girth, then followed by Rainer's Lane. It's on the bit from next Fairfield Lad. Spyglass is nicely poised, then Escalation is next, then Jaspala, Lord Sutak. Beau Monarch came next, then followed Hot Number working round Prince Kumai and Royal Banquet, and then followed by Star Harvest. He's 8 off the pace. Gatcombe's Pride and Silver Chris are last by about 5 lengths. On the corner with 500 metres to go, the leader is now Rainer's Lane. Sweeps to March C. Spyglass is poised to challenge out wider Lord Sutak. Into the straight they come. Leader is Rainer's Lane just from Lord Sutak. Here's Star Harvest down the very outside now. Escalation's battling on behind the leaders. It's still Rainer's Lane. Lord Sutak, Star Harvest out wide. Lord Sutak might have grabbed Rainer's Lane. 200 to go. No, he hasn't. Rainer's Lane still in charge of Lord Sutak and Escalation. Rainer's Lane is too good. Going to the post. Rainer's Lane is going to win it easily. Lord Sutak second. Escalation third. Then March Siege, Aspala, Star Harvest. Then followed by Prince Kumai. Next behind these then were Fairfield Ladbo Monarch. Then followed by next Royal Banquet. Next was Tiak Our Lad Hot Number. Then a mile back Gatcombe's Pride didn't yelp. Neither did Spyglass when the pressure went on. And then followed home behind that lot then was Silver Chris.
Leave my sound up. 16-1 shot, Rainer's Lane. And doing it in grand style. David Peake and Rainer's Lane holding off all the challenges. Let's go to the final stages of the race now, and the call from Brian O'Flaherty.
Well, you can see here Rainer's Lane still moving pretty well. David Peake starting to move with the whip, but there was a lot left in the tank. Even here, March See the Pacemakers fighting on the fence. Escalation in the green is coming home well, but he's under a hard ride. Lord Sutak the same, further out the Chestnut in the gold and the tartan. But it's all Rainer's Lane now, and he's answering every stroke of David Peake's whip now as they go past the 75-metre mark. In fact, he's getting away from them. Lord Sutak's fighting on very gamely, and he went down well in his preliminary. Looked as if he'd run a good race, but at the line, it's all Rainer's Lane and David Peake. Lord Sutak, Escalation, March See, and they are the first four home in the Firth Mitchelson Cup.
And let's take the dividends now from the race. Rainer's Lane paid $18.55 and $4.70. Lord Sutak at $7.15. Escalation at $2.90. Quinella on the event was $246.90, and the trifecta was $6,025.95. Well, a little bit of a surprise there, but the lighter weights paying dividends, and a few reputations somewhat down the track. And gentlemen Mike Dillon and Brian O'Flaherty joining me. Spyglass, when the pressure went on, Mike, a little disappointing.
Yeah, I suspect there's probably a little bit of improvement left in Spyglass, Phil, but she was certainly disappointing because I thought it was a lovely ride by Mike Coleman. He put her in the race and she was one out and one back. She took one look at the straight and stopped. As I say, I suspect there's probably some improvement in her. I wouldn't worry too much about her just yet, perhaps.
No,
but
I would think perhaps when the ground's a little bit firmer too.
Yeah, that probably didn't have it probably had a bearing on it, Brian, yeah.
Another prospect, of course, was Prince Kumai, who was a little way back in the running, but then came home reasonably well, but then again seemed to peter out again in the latter stages.
Didn't look like a Melbourne Cup hope on that run, Phil, but once again, he might still be on the improve and perhaps better track conditions for him.
Okay, Brian, any thoughts?
No, I think that pretty well sums it up. Phil, I thought Prince Kumai actually didn't go too badly.
Okay, well, we'll be looking at those horses in more detail as the weeks progress, as we get closer to the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup. Well, here's the field now for the Lion Red Weight for Age Stakes. Brilliant field it is. Some real form here. Let's have a look. Bourbon Boy as number one in the book at $12.80 and $3.10. 3 Mickey's Town at $3.95 and $1.55. 4 Regal City at $5.20 and $1.80. 5 is Satisfy at $18.40 and $4.05. Secret Mission at $17 and $3.75. 7 is St Rupert at $13.50 and $3.05. Megabucks at $2.85 and $1.35. 11 Bombay Tin at $17.20 and $3.70. And number 12 Shazamani at $6.75 and $2.15. And here are the horses making their way over to the 1600-metre start. Interesting to see the support there for Megabucks. Certainly the punters indicating, Brian O'Flaherty, that they're right behind Megabucks' chances.
Well, they are indeed, Phil. The price has gone out a little bit since those dividends were recorded. He's showing $3.40 now. I'd have to say I don't entirely disagree with Mike. I understand his reasoning when he says that the horse is not well off in the weights compared with his form through the grades. But on the other hand, the weight for age scale is designed to give them all an equal chance.
Satisfy number 5, rider Bruce Compton. Pretty good type this, of course, won the New Zealand Derby on a protest. Shown some reasonable form at the moment, but perhaps a trifle inconsistent.
Yeah, it's not one of my top fancies, Phil, for sure, Satisfy.
He's paying $19.40, Phil, and I think it's a reasonable price, even though he's a tough rag. St Rupert going in. He's got some handy form, Mike. I haven't seen a lot of him up here, but he's a pretty useful horse on his day.
He is. He'd probably appreciate a bit more rain. This track's drying out a little, and I think St Rupert would have been better on a heavy track.
Yes.
Here's Mickey's Town. Now, this horse has really improved, hasn't he? The Icelandic horse. He's a 6-year-old now, and a big chance for Jimmy Gibbs in the Cox Plate.
Well, yes, he is, Phil, although that very easy win that he had at Matamata was on ground much wetter than this. And whether he'll just, have quite as much to spare today with the wind having dried the track is doubtful.
Yeah, I didn't think he handled the track that day too well, actually, Brian. I thought that he was stumbling when Rhys Jones let his head go about 300 metres out. I think he'll be better suited by this track today, and I think he's great value at 335. I really think he'll win the race.
Regal City, of course, a lot of interest in him. Let's hope he can return to winning form and be a realistic chance.
Racing in the Lion Red Stakes. Mickey's Town bounced out to lead them. Regal City was next out. Bombay Tin on the inside. And there goes Bourbon Boy up wide on the track as they settle now. Mickey's Town doesn't want that lead, and St. Rupert dashes through to take it off him. Bombay Tin, Bourbon Boy very handy, but Mickey's been trapped out a bit. Then followed Megabucks right in behind the leaders. Then Satisfy. Regal City settling back third. Last was Secret Mission and Charles Marnie. Only 5 lengths covering them as they work up the rise. 1,100 metres to go, and Bourbon Boy took the lead from Bombay Tin. About a length and a half St. Rupert. Megabucks on the inside. Mickey's Town one out now. There's Secret Mission taking off at the 1,000 metres, going to race round and try and hit them all off. So as they race by the 950 now, Secret Mission took the lead from Bourbon Boy. A length and a half Bombay Tin on its outside, St. Rupert. Then Mickey's Town and Megabucks, the 2 favourites. Then Regal City Satisfy. A length and a half to Shah's Marnie. Only 7 lengths first to last. 700 metres to go in the Lion Stakes, and the leader is Secret Mission, 2.5 Bourbon Boy. St. Rupert on its girth, then followed Mickey's Town, 3 out and moving forward, then a length and a half to Satisfy. Bombay Tin on the inside of then Megabucks, snookered a bit from Regal City's going to come wide, then Shah's Marnie last. Into the straight they come, and Mickey's Town's dashed up the Secret Mission as they come into the straight. Out wide to Satisfy. Regal City trying to wind up. Megabucks looking for room desperately. 300 out. Mickey's Town has got that lead. Megabucks is getting out and coming after it, and Regal City on the outside's fighting on. Mickey's Town, but here's Megabucks is going to throw down the gauntlet. Megabucks the inside from Mickey's Town. Megabucks is doing best, and Megabucks is going to beat Mickey's Town. Third at the line is Regal City, then followed Satisfy, Shah's Marnie, Bombay Tin, Secret Mission, Bourbon Boy and St. Rupert. Megabucks to win. One at
Yeah, good effort here. This is a very good effort indeed. The in-form horse Megabucks was the favourite on the tote before the tote closed at 3:30 and 165, and has held on to win, and win in grand style. Let's go to the latter stages of the race now, and Brian, that was a very, very impressive effort.
Well, Phil, I said the weight for 8 scale was designed to give them an equal chance, and Megabucks, I think, has proved that. Here he comes, shooting through the middle. Secret Mission, the dash to the front before they got to the top turn, is giving way. Rhys Jones has got Mickey's Town still there. He'd actually taken the lead briefly when Secret Mission began to tire. And here's Regal City. Now, Jimmy Gibbs is going to be really pleased with this horse's run, I'd say. But it's all Megabucks now as he goes to the line for Debbie Healy. And this is the 2nd year in a row that she's won this. She won it on Regal City last year, but this time it's Megabucks, and he's got a length, 2 lengths to spare from Mickey's Town. Regal City's third.
Well, that's a top effort. You know, he's won it in grand style. Lloyd Burdett, he's got a big smile on his face. In fact, I can see him. I'll grab a quick comment here. Lloyd, get a quick comment from you. Your reaction to winning the big one? Can't believe it?
No, I can't really believe it. I didn't think he could win it, but he's a great horse.
You actually were a little worried about him in light of the opposition, you mean? Or?
Oh, well, yes, and we were giving away weight, but we had to have a go. It was a big stake, and a beautiful ride by the girl, and everybody's pretty happy.
And what's the plan now? Where will the horse go?
Oh, go home. I just hope the wife hasn't kicked the TV in or something while she was watching it. No, we don't really know. Perhaps Rotorua next Saturday even.
Shame you weren't heading across the Tasman now.
We're just scared of the ground, but we could go, yes. McKinnon Stakes or something, yeah.
Well, if she'll let you go. Thank you, Lloyd, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There we are. There is the successful trainer of Megabucks, who has won it in great fashion, in fact, here at Ellerslie. Well, we'll be looking at the horses that returns to scale now, and really, I think, Brian, the others had their chance.
Oh, they did. There's no excuses. I think, Phil, this horse is terribly consistent. He's had 12 starts for 6 wins now. This one's taken him over $100,000 in stake earnings. I must say, Lloyd takes things pretty casually.
Doesn't he ever? By Schweppshire lad, he is out to Vukaya, a 4-year-old, and he's really hit solid form at his most recent starts, appreciating the softer surfaces, but far too good for them today, and that's the 6th win from 12 starts, so top effort. We'll return to Ellerslie in one moment when we'll have more information for you, including the dividends.
International sport. Tonight, a live rugby special. Cardiff head on against the mighty All Blacks. Rugby tonight with highlights Sunday night on Television 1. We are the one for sport.
When you bring your car into Caltex for a service, we'll always lay down the welcome mat. Because at Caltex, we're working harder at putting service back into service stations. It's got to be good to carry the star.
Mitre 10 have done it again, driving down the price of paint. And every time you buy Taubman's premium quality paints, you're in to win a Mitsubishi Galant 2-litre fuel-injected liftback. Race in now for Taubman's 4-litre iron primer and all-weather roof paint, only $49.95 each. Lap these up. Taubman Sunproof Gloss or Satin, 4 litres just $54.95. And 10-litre all-weather roof paint, only $99.95. You can't lose.
New Zealand Employment Service, how can I help you?
We need some help on the farm.
What sort of person are you looking for?
They'll need some experience with livestock. Able to handle machinery. Some fruit pickings involved. And they'll have to live on the farm.
Glad you could join us.
Hello, I'm Elliot Goblet. When I discovered Suntough, I went into a real frenzy. Suntough may look like other clear claddings, but there is a difference. This is Suntough. It changed my life. I can feel that frenzy coming on again. Wow. Suntough. The difference is not shattering.
How did Henry Blofeld discover the great New Zealand way of life?
Well, my dear old thing, someone said, Blowers, you haven't lived until you've discovered outdoor cooking at the barbecue factory. Look at the possibilities. Kebabs, stir-fries, super rotisseries, and all the extras. And look what's cooking under the covers. And even a jolly old New Zealand lamb on a spit. A vast range of barbecues at prices you have to see to believe.
And what about Henry?
Having a few maidens over? Well, my dear old thing, first stop, the barbecue factory.
Well, top effort there by Megabucks to win the Lion Red Stakes here at Ellerslie this afternoon. A good performance too by Regal City, who gets some of the money. Well, the dividends are available, and here again is Brian.
Well, the punters' faith was certainly justified. Phil, $3.30. They should be very pleased with that. $1.65 for a place. Mickey's Town, $1.55, and Regal City, $1.75. The Quinella pays $3.55, and the three of them make up a trifecta, which is worth only $33.20.
So the honours there with the Burdett team from Hamilton. Well, Brian, I think that Regal City turned in a much more encouraging run. Perhaps the slightly firmer conditions it struck today a little more suiting.
I would think that would have helped him, Phil, yes. But after that poor run at Matamata, I'm sure that Jimmy would be very pleased. I was talking to him before the race. I said, can you find anything wrong with the horse since Matamata? He said, not a thing, can't fault him. And, of course, the proof was today. He's improved again, and he's a very good horse when he's right.
Actually, Lloyd's a very astute trainer. He's had some pretty good horses down there in Hamilton. He's been battling away for years, and he gets the occasional good one. I know one of the owners of this horse, Gerald Chan, has always been a great supporter. Good relationship between the two of them, and I'm sure that they're very pleased about that result. What did you think of the run of the other hotshot in the race, Mickey's Town?
Oh, it was a pretty good run, Phil. I don't think there was anything really to be criticised about it. He was beaten by a what I'm sure is going to prove to be a very good horse. And I would be surprised if it put Jim off the Cox Plate.
So we're just standing by now here at Ellerslie in preparation for the next race, which is coming in live on our Intertrack service, and that will be the Desert Gold Stakes. We'll be looking at the field for that, which has really been dominated by Soleil Rouge, which is the warm favourite at the moment, I can tell you, at around about $3.10 and $1.55. Let's go back to the latter stages of that race that we've just seen, the Lion Red Stakes, and we'll have another look at that finish, where there were some pretty good efforts here by particularly Megabucks, the winner, who looked at one stage, Brian, I thought to be a little bit unlucky to get a run, but then the gaps opened up in the latter stages and home it came.
They certainly did, yes. And Rhys Jones was another one who was looking to smother his horse early. He was looking around quite anxiously in that first 200 or 300 metres, waiting for something to take the pace. And of course, eventually Secret Mission did after Bourbon Boy obliged in the early stages. But look at this, you know, Debbie's she's hardly covered any extra ground on this horse. She hasn't lifted the stick on him. She's just pushing away, hands and heels, and he's doing the rest. He's a natural racehorse. I guess by Schweppes Chalet there might be some doubt about whether he'll ever last a middle distance, but boy, he can make a lot of money running up to 1,600 metres, and I think that's going to be his forte.
There we are, Brian. Well, now your thoughts on the Desert Gold Stakes, which is the next race on our card. This filly that David Walsh is riding looks to be the goods.
Well, a bit of a toss-up, Phil. Yes, I'd say that she is, and I hope that she is too, because she's one of those that big team of horses that the Caracas syndicates have had in work, and they've had a huge amount of success with. You know, Bevan Allen and his team picking horses very well when they buy them. She looks very smart. The other filly I think in the race that you'd have to consider is Domino, sort of second string to Philippa Rush for Jim Campion at the moment, but a very smart filly.
Of course, the big news down there is the fact that there have been two bad falls today. Noel Harris was injured, as was Darrell Lang, and as a result both those jockeys have actually been unable to ride for the rest of the day. Darrell Lang particularly affected because he was aboard Domino, one of the ruling favourites for the race, and Noel Harris aboard Hini Kaha. Let's go to the field now for the Desert Gold Stakes, which is due to go any second. It's headed by Argosy. Number 3 in the book is Cool Treasure and Paul Taylor. Domino at around about 660 and 240. Change of rider there, Roy Mackay. Hini Kaha, number 6. Noel Harris, 2 ride originally. Jimmy Walker aboard now at about 14 and 385. Kisan, Kim Clapperton to ride, 670 and 215. Number 8 is Madame Bardot, Larry Cassidy at 20 the win and 470 the place. Our Hawk, number 9. Philip Mercer to ride. Brian Fletcher aboard Princess Rojoine. Ramilia and Darrell Bradley, they're at 22 and 6. Rampillion and Damon Smith at 21 and 580. Gary Phillips is aboard the other grey representative in Sluzana at 22 and 580. Soleil Rouge, David Walsh, the red tempo filly at 320 and 155, and Super in number 15 at $7 and $2.60. And we will be taking our picture shortly from the Trentham course, where the Desert Gold Stakes field is just currently moving around in behind. It's actually turned out to be a rather pleasant day in Wellington. The track conditions were officially soft, as you can see, cloudy conditions, but a breeze there blowing, a nor'wester of about 20 to 30 knots. Temperature just a fraction cooler than Auckland at 16 degrees. So Soleil Rouge, the horse to beat without any question at all. Only had the 6 starts, 4 3 wins and a second, and trained of course by the O'Sullivans at Matamata.
Phil, interesting to see that we are fair.
So the favourite, we're just watching these horses mill around at the moment, and number 3 is Cool Treasure there in the middle, the filly by Half Iced. Gary Vile of New Plymouth, who's been associated with some pretty smart youngsters, trains this one, Paul Taylor to ride, 13 and 420 at last call. It'll be interesting to see the change of rider for Domino, how that will affect the chances. Roy Mackay, a very competent jockey, so I don't imagine he'll have too much trouble.
No, I wouldn't think so, Phil. It's interesting to see the number of horses in this field, fillies in this field by New Zealand bred sires. Soleil Rouge is by Red Tempo, and Jim Campion's filly Domino is by Grosvenor. There are a couple by Little Brown Jug. There's one by Beechcraft. It's very encouraging, I think, for the future of the New Zealand bred horse, especially if we can get a Quinella today by with Soleil Rouge and Domino.
This is the Magic Millions Desert Gold Stakes. Of course, the Magic Millions sales, Magic Millions to be staged at Trentham in the new year, and that's going to be a very exciting time, always a good time for the breeders.
Certainly is. Yes, we're looking forward to the new format at Trentham this year too, where they have two hours selling on the night of the Magic Millions $1 million race and the Oaks on the Saturday night. Then they sell all day on Sunday.
The Super In is a definite chance in this race, number 15 in the book, Brian Hibbard to ride from the Ortridge stable at Matamata. Super In ran a very solid race behind the outstanding Philippa Rush at its last start.
It'll be interesting, Phil, to watch Sluzana. Gleam Machine filly. Gleam Machine had 6 or 7 winners in his first crop last season.
Desert Gold Stakes now. Commentator Alan Bright at Trentham. Let's see who's the best 3-year-old filly at Trentham today.
And it was a perfect start to getting back a little bit. Madame Bardot and back there as well when they settle was Ramala. Domino's pounced out well to be the leader, followed out by Princess Roju and then Hini Kaha. They were followed by Our Hawk, then Soleil Rouge going up alongside these is Cool Treasure. Argosy and Sluzana were the next two. One just ahead of those. They were followed then by Rampallion, and further back in the field then to Madame Bardot. Well back is Super in K-Sands in the last couple, and so is Ramala. They travel down the back now, about 1,050 to go, and Domino doing its work well in front by 3 lengths from Princess Roju. Hini Kaha is lying third from Cool Treasure. Soleil Rouge in a good spot next, in Our Hawk, followed by Rampallion. Super In making ground next, then Argosy followed further back in the field by Ramala, and well back to Madame Bardot, just ahead of that K-San, and 3 lengths to Sluzana. They come off the back, about 800 to go, and Domino led by a length from Princess Roduin and Cool Treasure. Soliel Rouge and Henny Carr, Super In, and then our Hawk about 4 lengths away. Ramala is followed further back by Madame Bardot. Well back Argosy, K-San, giving right up is Rampellion, and along and further back then to Sluzana. They race up towards the turn. Domino just in front now from the outside of it. Princess Roduin, Super In is next, and Soliel Rouge. They were followed further back in the field as they swing in by Madame Bardot, then our Hawk Cool Treasure, and further back to Ramala. Just over 200 to go. Domino now, and here's Princess Roduin down the outside, and Soliel Rouge is getting a run, and so is our Hawk, and wider out Super In's a bit far away with Madame Bardot, who's coming home at 100 miles an hour down the outside. Could be an upset here. Madame Bardot, Princess Roduin, and our Hawk, they're the 3, but Madame Bardot's got the lead now from our Hawk, Princess Roduin. Soliel Rouge can't do it, but Madame Bardot, that's going to win the Desert Gold Stakes at long odds. Second home is Princess Roduin, and our Hawk is third, then further back Soliel Rouge. Super In and Domino, Ramala. Well back in the field, Argosy, Sluzana, Cool Treasure, then K-San, and well back to Rampellion, and last home is Henny Carr.
Well, Larry Cassidy successful aboard Madame Bardot at odds of around about 20 to 1 in the Desert Gold Stakes. A little bit of an upset here. Let's go to the final stages of the race now. Here's a description from Brian O'Flaherty.
Well, Trentham's always been a good track for Don Coochman, and here's another big one for him. You can see that Domino's, who made the pace to the turn, has given way, and here's Madame Bardot coming home very strongly on the outside. Princess Rowan in the middle there is fighting on. Our Hawk is also running on, and Soleil Rouge also, the Karaka filly, is making ground well, but it's really all Madame Bardot now in the last 100, 120 metres now. She's really streeting them. And she, I'm happy to say, is one of those fillies by a New Zealand bred stallion. She's a daughter of Little Brown Jug. Going to the line now, Daylight to Spare to Princess Rowan. And just the whip shaken at her now as she goes across the line at Trentham. And Princess Rowan second, our Hawk third, and Soleil Rouge takes fourth.
There we have it, Desert Gold Stakes. We'll be back in 1 moment.
Bringing you the news is a 24-hour-a-day job, especially on the weekend. To bring you the latest news and sport sooner, we're moving back 1/2 hour. Network News and Sport, now at 6, tonight on 1.
Hello, I'm Elliot Goblet, and I'm thrilled to report that Suntough is not just a pretty face, but is made out of the right stuff too, and that stuff is lightweight polycarbonate. I'd just like to echo those remarks, and that stuff is lightweight polycarbonate, polycarbonate, polycarbonate. Suntough, the difference is not shattering.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good, you've come so far. We know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. Gillette, the best a man can get. On so many faces, it's plain to see. We give you all we have to give, for all a man can be. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette, the
Gillette Contour Plus with lubricating strip for the best a man can get.
best a man can get.
Turtle Wax have come up with a new product that makes waxing as easy as washing. Until now, most so-called wash and wax products didn't leave much wax. But with new Turtle Hot Wax in warm water, when you've washed, you've waxed. See the beads of water? Proof that new Turtle Hot Wax is the first real wax job in a bucket. With 4 weeks Turtle Hard Shell Wax Protection every time you wash. New Hot Wax from Turtle Wax. When it's washed, it's waxed.
Whatever you're building, whatever the size, see the team at Benchmark Building Supplies. Benchmark.
Painting with Dulux is a picnic at Benchmark this month. Buy 4 liters of Dulux premium paint and you could win a deluxe picnic basket or the grand prize of a picnic